Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Dear Belly, my son Azariah is currently Shana Aleph in Yeshivat. I'm not going to say the name, in Yerushalayim. Oh, okay. The yeshiva took the boys on a rejuvenation trip to the Eilat Mountains for a couple of days. On the way back, the boys were really impressed to see Tzvi Sat, head of student welfare, doing the daf with MDY on the coach. My son asked me to share the picture below so that Reb Sat should know that without saying and just doing, you can create a great impression. Again, that without saying and just doing, you can create a great impression. Kol Tov, Barry Gross, London. Good afternoon, Reb Eli. This was funny. Again, I'm not, people are going to be upset that, but I thought the line was givaldic. Yesterday, I was driving from Brooklyn to Lake, I was listening to Rabbi Miller, came across this question and answer, which you were speaking about the past few days. I thought you'd enjoy Rabbi Miller's thoughts on this topic, which I did. Still listening, enjoying your shiur, and also those jokes. Keep up the good work. Avram Tikotsky. To remind the Olam, Avram Tikotsky is the one who sent me a beautiful Yonah Weinrib painting, which arrived in my house the day Corona started. The day we left the Beis Medrash, and everybody was depressed and down. Thinking about those days, just thinking that we were able to pull through, it's unbelievable. Okay, and I have a lot of Hakar Sotah to Reb Avram. Attached is also the audio for this question. Until what age should one hit children rather than communicate with words? The answer is you should always communicate with words, even with little children. You have to realize everybody's amenable to common sense, even little children. Sometimes the common sense enters them more readily through their backside when it is accompanied by a slipper. Okay, Atka, I'm not going to read the rest. That was that generation. Kids, however, there's no question that we should always use words of instruction, even if a child is unwilling to listen. Common sense, reasonable words penetrate the human mind. We never give up in instructing a child, and also we shouldn't consider hitting superfluous whenever necessary. Only should be done not like an enemy. It should be done a little at a time, and the child should realize and should be told that it's for his benefit. All right, these are long emails. I'm not going to read it because there's somebody in the room that I don't want to read it in front of, so I'm just going to skip these. These are two emails about yesterday's shiur and what happened, so we'll read them a different time. The kollel of the month is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, Rufua Tinoik Ben Malka. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. Paras HaChodesh in memory of Binyomin Airley from Anonymous in Manchester, who joined the shiur at the beginning of Sotah. Paras HaChodesh, Shprintzy and Avrumie Gross, Leonishmas, the yahrzeits of our fathers, Shlomo ben Yitchak, Aiyzik, Zechus, Binyomin Airley, ben Hirsha, הכהן, zechus. Paras HaChodesh, Leonishmas, Zechrya ben Moshe, Leonishmas, zechus bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, it should be zechus to Reb Eli for continuous siyadta dishmaya and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Paras HaYoim, Dave Skorsky, Yahrzeits, Harav Tzvi Arye ben Avraham, the Neshama should have an aliyah. Paras HaYoim, Kidnovations in honor of my uncle, Kidnovations Llc in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, and in appreciation to Reb Eli for showing us how to accept Busha Ba'ahava. I didn't read that, but okay, we'll read it now. It should be a zechus for Akiva Simcha ben Fega. Art of the month. Anonymous for the zechus for an easy childbirth for his daughter and a healthy baby. Shkoyach. Huh? Rabbi Sai, we have with us the very chashuv guest, Reb Yossi Klein. And I want to say one word here. He's here for the yahrzeit of Reb Yiddy Leibowitz. Reb Yiddy was our in-house graphic artist. He made many of the different posters and all sorts of things. And Reb Yiddy was nifter during Corona. He got Corona, went to the hospital, was nifter at a very, very young age. I think his two children are here today. Yeah, they're here in the back. Shalom, wow, they grew up. Yeah, in Hara. I want to say something. Reb Yiddy Leibowitz met Yossi Klein and convinced Yossi Klein to do the daf. Yossi Klein was not into the daf. It was hard for him to do the daf, and in the beginning he did the 8-minute daf. He said all he could do was 8 minutes. He mustered together 8 minutes. And then Yossi went on to do the regular daf, and then he did the video where he said that the daf is a stress relief pill. He became famous for that back in the day. And then it came to a point where Yossi Klein might be the number one person doing behind the scenes in MDY. He ran the whole Shabbaton. He's running a campaign now to raise money for MDY. He brings people to the daf, and he had this whole thing to get Chasim to bring to them. So one Yiddy brought another Yid, and that what the payers are from that one push to get a guy to do a daf, we wouldn't be here like we are today, sitting like we are today, and doing all the things that we're doing today. The Gemara initiative, which he basically started with Nisan al-Ganz, the countless things, and that. Do you know that he hired 2 secretaries that he pays full time to work for MDY? He took all the merch to him. All the Gemaras go to his warehouse. He has special places. The amount that this one Yid does because of one person called Yiddy R Yossi. Yeah? So you never know when you push a guy to learn Torah where it could go, what the payers are. It's unbelievable. With that being said, if you learned Baba Kama recently, so maybe don't really answer the question, but I have a question that will mamish. You're not going to believe this question. If a person has an Evet Knani, and you were here last night, so don't answer. A person has the Evet Knani, and he beats up his Evet Knani, sends him to the hospital. The guy's suffering in the hospital for 3-4 days and dies. What do we do with the master? Do we kill him or not? The master killed his slave. Do we kill him or not? It's unbelievable. I think that it's just, if you came just for this halacha, it's unbelievable. It's a pasuk in the Torah. And not everybody knows it. Very, very few people know it. Huh? It's next week's parsha. The answer is that if the slave survives for 24 hours, you don't kill him. But if he doesn't survive for 24 hours, you kill him. Unlike any other Jew that you kill, doesn't matter how long he survives, that then he dies from the wound, from the injury, you kill him. There's a special halacha about a slave. I thought it's phenomenal. I thought it's a halacha that everybody should know. It's going to be on the list of questions to ask Yeshiva Bachrim. What are the questions? What does truma mean? Tamura, not truma. Tamura. What is the rice, or if any, are you over if you smack your friend in the face?
What's this week's parsha?
Did they hear that? I don't know. If they didn't hear it, what's this week's parsha? Shkoyach. You must have gone to a really yeshiva. Yeah, YU, whatever, yeah. All right, so Rabbi say, we're here in this. We're in the middle of the story where the woman tried to give her son an asset. Let's call it a nursing home. She was married. Her husband is benefiting from the nursing home and everything. And she's trying to give him, to benefit him, the son, while her husband is still alive, while she's still alive. And the Gemara first said, yes, she deserves it. Then the Gemara comes up with something called Takana Susha. Takana Susha is that, yes, she is in fact the real owner. Why? Because we passing like Rish Lakish. Kinyan Peiros, Lav, Kikin Guf. She is the Guf. She owns the Guf Akarka, not the Paris. She is in control. Yet, Chacham said, in Usha, when they went travel to Usha, they instituted a Takana Susha. They said, listen, yes, theoretically she's in charge, but because we don't want fights here between a husband and wife, we don't want her selling things while she's married, they're going to create a lot of friction between a husband and wife, we don't allow it. And then the Gemara says, well, we have something very similar. We have a slave, which she owned while she was getting married. She came into the marriage with a slave. I had a yeshiva guy stay by me. He was in one of these countries. Let's call it Mexico or South Africa, whatever. I'm not going to say exactly. He came from this place. He said he grew up with a living, but literally like a real living. He told me something we couldn't believe it. First he said when you just drop your clothes wherever you are, you leave your bed. He never made a bed in his life. He came to yeshiva, he says, I don't know, like the yeshiva is like, you have to make your bed. I don't know what to do. But what was fascinating to me is that he calls her up for advice. She brought him up. This woman brought him up. He's like, she taught, no, it wasn't.
South Africa?
Yeah.
Advice?
Nevada? For advice. Chachma.
I don't know what.
How do I deal with this situation in yeshiva? How do I do it? He calls his living. So I'm just thinking, no, like you live with your living. Like they come together with you. She's getting married. She can't deal with the life without her living. She brings the living. Huh? Name is a little bit, that's a surrogate mother. Abaya's real, she was a stepmother. That's something else. Okay. So here's the Shaila. So the Gemara says, okay, she comes in with a slave. It's her slave. She comes into the marriage with a slave. But her husband now starts benefiting from this slave. And the question is, who's in charge of the slave now? The wife has the guf, and the husband has the peiros. So when the wife knocks out the slave's tooth, is it considered her slave that went out, or is it considered the husband's slave? There was no shaila that when the husband knocks out the tooth, it's nothing. The question is, we have a contradiction in the brises. One brisa says the wife knocks out the tooth, the slave goes free. The other says, when a wife knocks out the tooth, the slave does not go free. So yesterday we saw two pshatim to explain the contradiction. One was here on the chart that everybody holds. I should have fixed it. The question is, was there usha or not? The second pshat is, did usha ever happen? The second pshat is, everybody agrees of takanas usha, but when did usha happen? It happened later on in history. The brisa was written before usha was ever instituted. In other words, the wife has complete control on the slave. She knocks out his tooth, he goes out. Then comes usha and says, listen, yes, you should have full control, but not anymore. We don't want any fights. So if you knock out the tooth, that doesn't even make the slave go out. And now we're holding over here that no, it's talking about after usha. And there's something special about Machlokes is whether or not does a wife have the right to set the slave free, be mishacher the slave, and that will undo anything that the husband owns. So the husband owns peiros, but if the wife is mishacher the slave, she lets him free by knocking out the tooth, then that is mafkia everything. Let's see inside, you'll understand better. Says the Gemara, boys, 4 lines in the bottom of Peites Amud Beis. He did the two brises. One brise says the woman knocks out her slave's tooth, he goes out free. The other one says he doesn't. This happened. Everybody agrees that there is something called takanas usha. It happened, and this is afterwards. What does the other madama hold? Kidarava. Damarava hegdish chometz v'shichrur mafki midei shibud. We're talking about something called an apoitiki. We had this a number of times. It's a Yiddy and Shas. Apoitiki is one word, which means three things. It's 3 words. It's an abbreviation of 3 words. Apoit tehei koi. When I take something and I tell a person I'm borrowing money from him, I said, don't worry about it. I will pay you back. Here's my car. I'm putting it as collateral. Here's my slave. Here he is. If I don't pay you, you can take my slave. Isn't my slave worth more than that loan you gave me? Yeah, don't worry about it. Here he is. Now, what happens if I go and I release my slave? I'm a shubba to the loiva, to the malva. I have an obligation to pay back my loan. But since I released him, it releases the slave from the shibud. The same exact thing would happen with hegdish and chometz. Let's take Pesach. I tell a non-Jew, I say, you see all these pizzas over here, you see all this chometz. If I don't pay you back, you can take it. But comes Pesach, and the pizza is still in my possession, in my store, and comes Pesach, and it's shavar love Pesach, it's worthless. So now that pizza is gone. I took away the shibud, my obligation to give it to the guy. And the other thing is hegdish. I tell somebody, here's a bull worth $2,000. If I don't pay you back, take this bull. He goes ahead and he makes it a carbon. It has to be dafke gedushas haguf, that there's gedusha on the actual physical animal, and that releases the obligation to the loan. There's 3 things that you can release. You can't sell it. You can't do other things. It's stuck. It's an apoitiki. It's here. It goes to the loan. But if I do 3 things, I let it go past Pesach. I give it to the Beis Hamikdash as Kedushas Haguf, not Kedushas Damim that I give it to the Bedek Habayis. I give it to fix up the Beis Hamikdash. A real Kedushas Haguf. Or if I have a slave in this case, where I knock out his tooth, so knocking out the tooth releases the slave even though it's really my husband's. Says the Gemara, so what does the other brisa hold? So you tell me, but is it a machlokes tanaim in Rava? Does everybody agree that hegdish, chametz, and shiur are mafkia from shibud? Maybe the brisa, the second one that says that a woman cannot release her slave, maybe the brisa argues on this Rava, that hegdish, chametz, and shiur are not mafkia. Loi. The kula alma islu the Rava, everybody agrees to Rava that these 3 things, even though something's set aside to pay back a loan, if you do these 3 things, you make it hegdish, chametz, and shiur, it goes away, it doesn't pay the loan. But over here, Chacham said, since the husband is married to her and she has the guf, he has the payers, we're going to make it so strong that if she knocks out the tooth, he doesn't go free. But typically, it would go free. And the 4th pshat, and that goes back over here. According to everybody, there's no usha. And then we go back to the original machlokes that we had 2 days ago. If you own the body like the woman does she in control? Or the fact that the husband owns the body? What? It's takanas usha but on steroids. It's a very strong takanas. It's not similar, it's the same. It explains. It is takanas usha to the point where we remove her ability to be meshacher. It's a very, very strong takanas usha. Even if in a typical case a master knocks out a tooth, right? Back to this machlokes: who's in control of the property? The person that has the peiros, or the person that has the guf? If you say that it's the person that has the guf, so when she knocks out the tooth, he goes out. And this is very similar to machlokes tanaim, says the Gemara. So, person has. I myself, in real estate, a couple of times, actually, I remembered yesterday that my first real estate, the thing that kicked it off really for me was this idea that one of my neighbors wanted to buy my house very badly. It's a house I got from the shver. And I put a lot of money in, I renovated the house myself. This guy really wanted the house. So I came up with a chap, it was gewaldic, it worked out great. I said, I'll sell it to you on condition I can live here for 2 years. So what that did is, I had all this cash from the house, and I didn't have to put it into another house. I didn't have to buy anything else. So meanwhile, I had cash to buy my first property. That's how basically I got started. But anyway, over here, sometimes it's difficult to or that other house I had in Chicago, I sold it on condition I could live there for 60 days so that I had time to pack up, because I was in Eretz Yisrael. That didn't work out so well. Anyway, don't do that. Anyway, so I'm selling you the slave, but I really like the slave. I don't want to get rid of him now. I want the money now, but I need him for 30 days. So here's the question, Rabbi Yisai. Who owns the slave? The original owner gets to use him for 30 days. What is that called? Guf or peiros? Peiros. The other guy who purchased him has guf. He has a document that says you own that slave. So once again, we have a problem. One guy owns guf, one guy owns peiros. Oh. Listen to this. This is the pasuk that I don't think most people know about. It's a hidden pasuk. You killed your own slave. He has mitzvahs like a woman, you kill him. You're a killer, you get killed. The second pasuk, if it survives for 24 hours, means 24 hours. There's a little thing here. If he survives 24 hours, we don't kill you. Now here's the question. You have 2 people, the buyer and the seller. The seller gets to keep him for 30 days. The buyer has the guf. The buyer went and killed him. Does he get a 24-hour, let's say he survived for 25 hours, does he get a 24-hour dispensation? Or the guy that sold him killed the slave. He says, I'm getting rid of you anyways. Here, pack, he kills him. And the guy survived for 25 hours. Typically 25 hours. For the owner, you don't kill him. For somebody else, a random person, you do kill him. Only the owner has that dispensation. Avdoi. So who's the master here? Guf or Peiros? Oh, so that's the machlokes. But not only that, we have a four-way machlokes here. Right? But we only care for now, for our sugya, the first two. There was a hospital that the patients in bed 3 died within a day or two. Every time, a day or two. They bring investigators, they can't figure it out. So they bring people, the FBI, they bring people from all over the world. It's okay, they're going to do a stakeout. They hide behind something and they're going to check. They bring a patient, put a patient on bed 3. And sure enough, all of a sudden they hear footsteps in the middle of the night. And they take a look and they see a woman with a hoodie coming real close to the bed, looks around, goes under the bed, unplugs the ventilator, and plugs in the vacuum cleaner and starts cleaning the room. If they survive a day or two, then you don't kill them if you're the owner. So Rameir obviously holds that the one that owns the guf, he's in charge, and he gets that 24-hour dispensation. So that's our sugya. And he is mechulik. The buyer, he has that 24-hour dispensation. So it says in the pasuk. No. Only. Why?
Because if Kinyan pairs Kinyan Guf, it's no less than Kinyan Guf. The second one, Vada, has Kinyan Guf.
No. The whole sugya we're holding, the woman who has guf, she's in charge. She sells.
Correct.
No. Who's the buyer? Kinyan pairs. Yeah. That's a different shita. But I'm saying according to Reb Meir, Kinyan guf, he's in charge. Kinyan pairs nothing. Why? Why is it? You're not both.
The words Kinyan pairs, Kinyan Guf.
Yeah.
And then the Kinyan Guf loses all rights.
No. Yeah, always. The whole sugya is like that. Reb Eli Mesheni Yeshne B'din Yomi Mayim B'pnei Shu Kaspoy Kosovar Kinyan Peiros Lav Kinyan Guf. He holds. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that holds that the person in charge of the guf is in charge. So Mela, that's our machlokes over here. Rabbi Yehuda say machlokes of Kinyan Peiros like Rabbi Yochanan Shlakish. Reb Yossi Omer Shnei Yeshne B'din Yomi Mayim Zebnei Shu Tachtov Zebnei Shu Kaspoy. Everybody is part of it over here. He's working for this guy. He's owned by that guy. So they both have a 24-hour kula. Misapkele, why? He doesn't know. So since I don't know, how could I kill him? The guy died after 25 hours. Maybe he's the one that gets this halacha that he has 25 after 24 hours. He parted from Misa. I can't kill you on a suffix. Rebbe Lezer, Oimer, Shnei Merim Din Yomer Mayim, both of them don't have it. Zelefisha Enoi Tachtov, Zelefisha Enoi Kaspoy. Both are not part of it. It's not 100% yours. It's not 100% under you. No one. You get all of them get killed. Omarava, my time with the Rebbe Eliezer was pshat. Omar Krok, Ki Kaspoy who. So we look at this pasuk over here. Again, it's the same psukim, but at the end it says Ki Kaspoy who. In other words, only you. When there's one owner, Ki Kaspoy who, there's one person involved there, there's one owner, great. Kaspoy amiyuchadloi. Not when it's divided up. Oh, now, I'm just trying to think if it's over here. Oh, fine. No, we'll keep on going. Kiman azla hoda omar ameimar. Ameimar says, Ish vi isha shemachru b'nichsei milug loy osu v'loy klum. You have a woman who has a property she brought into the marriage. She can't sell it. Why? Because she has a husband. The husband can't sell it. Why? Because the wife owns the guf. the husband owns the payros, neither of them can sell. Lo Yosef lo klum. Keman Reb Eliezer. Hold on a second. It's that's then it would work. You're ruining my pshat if that's the case. Where? Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, he's right. The Shkoil is right. So this is okay. So we'll have to say that the hafla goes according to the other shita. The hafla says there's a pasuk that says it's a very interesting pasuk by Trumas Halishka. When Klal Yisroel gives money, Beis Hamikdash, it says Vayavayu ha'anoshim al anoshim. Vayavayu ha'anoshim al anoshim. What does it mean? That the men came with the women to donate. So the question is, why do they have to come together? Do like in a simcha hall, men are rangain over here, Freund are rangain over there. You make a little bit of a. So he says because it's talking about that she wanted to donate nichse milug, and nichse milug, the Gemara says, is a type of partnership. We have to explain it. It's a type of partnership that's strange. It's not that each partner owns 50%. Each partner owns another part of it. One owns the guf, one owns the payros. And in order to donate it, they have to come together. Unlike Rashi, I guess. So that's why the pasuk says that they came together because they have to come together. It's not stam, they took a trip together. Fine. Says the Gemara, and Rashi points out though, that a regular shutfus, I own 100%, you own 100%. I own Sunday, you own Monday. Each one of us owns 100% of the whole thing. So that would be different. That I could sell on my own. It's only because it's a very strange kind of shutfus where one owns the guf and the other owns the payros. That's why each one by himself can't do anything. I can't sell a property where I don't own the payros, I only own the guf. And you can't sell a property where you only own guf and not payros. You know what I'm saying? Each one has one thing that the other one has, so each one needs the other. Says the Gemara v'chein eved. Sorry. Reb Eliezer says that Kaspa Yehu, you have to own the whole thing. So this is a strange chetzi. Usually chetzi eved chetzi ben chayrin means one of the partners released his shiur. No, Rashi says we're talking about. Taisus explains we're talking about an eved that was released without a get. He's still waiting for his get shichur. Memela, again we have like a weird kind of situation. Is this shtahin ishtaher? He's an eved, not an eved. V'chein eved shel shnei shutfim. That Taisus also explains. The bottom Taisus explains that we're talking about an eved that the one partner owns the guf, one partner owns the payros. Because if it wasn't like that, then they would be able to release this eved b'roshei ivarim. The what? Allah is v'chein eved shel shnei shutfim and yotzim b'roshei ivarim she'en chayzim. That what? Typically speaking, when you knock out the slave's tooth or eye, he goes free. Not only that, you cut off the tip of his nose or his fingers, the 24 Ivarim goes out free. Not a slave that's owned in a weird partnership that one owns the guf and one owns the payros. It's Reb Eliezer. Why? Because he doesn't like this partnership. In order to go out with Rosh Ivarim, it has to be 100% one person, not a strange partnership. Says the Heilige Mishnah.
Isn't every rental for fixed term goofing Paris? You already rent it for no matter what. I own goof, you own the Paris.
Not really, because I think you own the goof. You own the goof in a way.
I own the goof.
Yeah.
The renter owns the Paris.
No, the renter. You're giving it over. You own the goof. Yeah. I mean that's how you have to. Says the Heilige Mishnah. Our boys say you're gonna love this. Put on some volume here. Your mom is gonna love it. Huh? Yeah, we got a good take care. You ready? There you go. Nachamol. There's a little.
Good morning, Other side.
The Sefer hits him back in the head. Okay. Why do I like it so much? Because yesterday, the artist was working on something else, on Elam or whatever. And I said, this thing came to my mind. I said, I told him exactly what I thought. I had this Meshugana Machshava. And it came out exactly like he made the trombone much larger. That was, different little nuances, but I thought the guy should fly up in the thing. I wrote a whole thing, fly up in the air, land back down, and then a second later, the Sefer should hit him in the head. Much like that. It's a day's work, something like that. 10 seconds, a full day's work. Says the Mishnah. Together, Chaveri Noisin Leisela. Rebbe Oimer, Mishum Reb Yossi Aglili Mana. Sela or a mana. So let's just see for a second. Here's a Sela. And a mana is 100. Oh, so Sela is 4 zuz. A mana is 100 zuz. It's much, much more. It's 96 versus 4. Star right here, come. This we have here, a big tzaddik. This guy comes every night this year and every morning this year. What's your name? Chaim? Marks. Go see Shiva. So we want to do a demonstration here. What story is? So there's two ways to smack a kid. Talking about chinuch. You gotta know how to do it.
His parents don't do it.
Come. Anyways, it's either this part of the front part of the palm, you go like this, right? Or you do it like with the zilzal, like that. Yeah? This way is double. You have to pay 2 ksubas for this. And this way is just 1. Okay. Now Yoshi did one. It wasn't 100% satisfied. 2 shiur a day. Oh, which reminds me, there's another boy here. I call him YY. I forgot his name. Yiddy Ytzchak. What's his name? No, YY. The guy with the corkinets. The guy that comes on the Segway every day. He's in Bernstein. I call him YY. He's on a trip now with his yeshiva. Big clever man, the guy. Also comes to 2 shiurim every day. He comes to the Hebrew and he comes to the English in the morning. And he never misses shacharis. He always runs out. He has to be there by 8 o'clock. You'll see him. He has like 2 wheels, like a Segway. He's unbelievable on it. Like he runs around the street. And he comes. You know what I'm talking about? Big clever man. He has a rental. He has 60 scooters that he rents in Bein Hazmanim. He's one of these guys that he can fix elevators, fixes this. I told him I have one of my kids' his scooter broke. No problem. It's fixed. Anyway, one of those. Computer like a genius kind. So he's now on a trip. He says, he told me, he said, I'm not going on my trip. I'm coming to the daf. Why? Because in the yeshiva, they won't give him a smart device. I said, you're going on the trip. You have to go on the trip. You can't. A 3-day trip. He wanted to give up a 3-day trip. I'm not making this up. So Baruch Hashem, I see he wasn't here yesterday and today. That means he listened to me. He went. In case he's watching it, Shalom. Hi. Shout out to him. But, you should get a smack for what? That's chinuch. Oh, I love it. Says, we got to run. Here, you give. It's a lot of money. It's a whole ksuba. You give somebody smack in the face. We said it. Yoiver an lo toisif pen toisif. Yeah, lo Yosef pen Yosef. I think it's Yosef, but anyway, that's something else. Toisif or Yosef. But the back of the hand. That's already a bizarre. And Rabbi said, I forgot to tell you. This whole mission is talking about busha. Busha, not nezek. This is about embarrassment. How you embarrass somebody. So if he pulled his ear, he pulled his hair, he pulled his ear, he pulled his hair, he spat at him and hit his skin. He took off his upper clothing. So whatever terrible clothing he had underneath, undergarment, whatever they used to wear, nothing too geschmack for anybody to see. It's one of these. So, done with the jokes about this thing, but this is a good piece. A guy was in the mikvah, and they stole his clothes, all his clothes. So the guy walks home without anything. Walks home down the street, makes a right, left. People are staring at him. He gets to his building, and the neighbors that live right across. The whole mishpacha, everybody, they all come out. He says, "You don't understand. I was in the mikvah, and they stole my clothes." Yeah. It's an unbelievable teretz. but you look like a fool. You walked in the street. The Musar article is, a person could say, yeah, I don't do the daf. It's too early. I have to take out my kids. Time out. Listen. The morning, listen, let me fear ice. Then you'll understand. A person says, it's too early. I have to take my kids to cheder. I can't come. I had this phone call to make. I had this idea. Unbelievable excuses. Beautiful tirutzim. But at the end of the day, you're naked from Torah. You don't have nothing. So all the excuses in the world mean nothing. You're a fool. Says Gemara, I'm trying to say Muslim, they think it's a joke. Para roisha isha b'shuk. You removed. Para roisha isha b'shuk. You removed a woman's tichel, shaitel, in middle of the market. My mother Shalom was on a bus, and a lady's tichel fell off. So there's a Hasidic lady sitting right behind, and she says, "Och mazel. If it would have happened to me, I would have had 100 times more bisha, because she had a shaved head." Can you imagine the busha of married women? I remember once my wife, maybe I shouldn't say it, she walked out. She was the first year, like a few months after we got married, she forgot that she was supposed to wear a shaitel. And the busha she had, like she came running back, like, we don't understand it, us men. Busha to have a woman who has typically covers her hair, and it's a busha. So you have to pay for it. Noisin law, arba me'ezuz, that's huge. You have to give 400. Says, Daf Yomi Beis, Zeh Klal. Oh, hakol v'chvoidoi. It depends. If this is a gross rebetzin, you have to pay much more. If she's, stam shvacha woman, you pay less. And the Gemara is going to discuss more than 400 for the gross rebetzin, or we're talking about 400 is max. If she's shvach, you give less than 400. Sponsored by Greg Haber for the success and the return of our chayalim and hostages, and for zechus for all of Klal Yisroel. Or Reb Akiva is mecholik afilu anim sheb'Yisrael. It doesn't matter who you are. Every Yid is the son of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. So there's no scale. It's 400, 200, whatever the amount is. We don't care how chashev you are and how chashev the person that gave you that smack or removed it. Story. There's a person who removed a woman's hair covering. From here you see that women used to cover their hair. In case anybody had a shayla, they said, it's a new minhag or whatever, they used to cover their hair. You see it many times in Shas. Not many, but you see it a few times in Shas. Yeah, you see it in the Torah. Story where a man removed the woman's hair covering, and she brought him to the Torah by Reb Akiva. So he said, okay, you have to pay, like the Mishnah says, 400. 2 ksubas, 2 years worth. Amar Loi Rebbe, 10 lizman, v'nos lizman. This guy's a big clever man. He says, okay, I need some time. I don't have money. Made up an excuse. I'll pay, but give me some time. Okay, fine. Today, like there's workman's comp. People say they get injured on the job. They fell off a little ladder and they can't walk. Go online. You'll see many videos of people who walk into court with crutches and this and that. Then the insurance company does a surveillance on them. See them playing tennis, basketball, throwing things, side jobs. There's a guy on a roof for an hour, and not only does he not get paid, they sue him. I don't have to tell you, Avi, right? So the lawyers, they tell you, listen, you're going to do it, but go online. Whatever you do, don't put groceries in your car. Don't lift that, even if you could. Don't. I'm warning you because you're not going to get your money. They tell him how to do it. So that's exactly what this guy did. He did surveillance on this woman. He wanted to prove to Reb Akiva that she doesn't deserve for 400. It's enough to support a person for 2 years. Shamra, he went there with binoculars and he watched her by her front yard. And he broke a jug of oil. In those days, they used to use oil to like shampoo for the hair. Right away, Gilsa is Roisha, she removed her hair covering. She grabbed as much oil as she can. Some shampoo, free shampoo. And now her hair is uncovered. So, he took video of it. He brought the witnesses to Reb Akiva. I should pay her 400. Look, she removed it voluntarily. Amar Loi, Loi Marta Klum. You're talking shtusim. What's Rebbe Akiva tining? Rebbe Akiva says it doesn't matter who she is and what she is, and even if she doesn't. 400 is 400, that's it. There's no scale here. How much do you want to pay? 50? There's no scale. The number is 400. And then he proves it, and it's interesting proof. He says, if a person decides to take off his own finger, it's usher. But if you do it, you're potter, you don't have to pay anybody. Now, why the Rambam paskins that it's usher. Tosfos says that it's usher to take off your own finger, cause yourself an injury, even b'shas tzorech. So there's a big shaila. Could I donate blood to a blood bank when there's nobody injured right now? There's no chayla, nothing. Maybe there'll be, maybe there won't be. I'm injuring myself. Okay, you don't like that one? What about plastic surgery? I have a long nose. I want to shorten it. It's not going well in shidduchim. I want to do something to make myself look better. I'm chayvel ba'atzmi. So Rav Moshe talks about it extensively, and he says at the end, yesh lahatir, especially women, they need it for shidduchim, this, that. But it's something to think about before you're taking a knife and cutting a part of your body off voluntarily for no reason. Not for beauty. What? So you say it's a tzarech. Okay.
I need it.
But it's this deraisa maybe. It might be a problem. Anyways, it's something to just to know that it's spoken about. You can remove your own finger as much as you want. But if somebody else comes and takes it off, of course it's chayv. So when I lived in Bnei Brak, in Ramat Chanan, right across the street or a little bit further, Ramat Chanan is Rechov Shomer, Rechov Rav Kahneman today. It's called a Shomer back in the day, Rav Kahneman, and there was a big orchard of orange trees. And everybody knew that the guy is waiting for these trees to die, because this is the raisa of, here, I'll show it to you. It's called Lois Tashchis, we call it Bal Tashchis, that you're not allowed to remove a tree. So the guy is sitting on a giant property, he went from Ramat Ahron all the way to Rechov Reb Akiva. I think they only built like 6 buildings on it, only. But it's worth millions of dollars. He bought it for peanuts. But the problem is there's hundreds of orange trees. So it sat there for many, many years. Maybe 25 years ago, they were able to build it. So if I come in, I could chop down my tree as much as I want. I'm over Issa D'Oraisa, but it's mine. But you, I'm a piece, even though it's also to chop it down, potter. You don't have to pay yourself. If somebody else comes into my domain and chops off the tree, he'll be chayiv. Yeah, okay, fine. Says the Gemara Boilu. A very simple question. It's not a long one. It's just 2 lines here. Oops, went too far. Let's take it back. Oh. So you can make a coin out of pure silver, 925 silver, or it doesn't make sense. Like today, we make shkalim or quarters out of fake silver. So suri means it's 100% silver, it has a lot of value, especially in those days. Silver and gold wasn't such a big difference in price. Not 100%. Yeah, whatever you need. Shkach for yahrzeits. I hope all yahrzeits are like that. So Medina is 1 part silver, 7 parts copper, meaning that 1 suri is worth 8 Medina. It's 8 times the value. So I just want to know, what kind of fine are you giving this guy? Is it this amount, 12.5, or it's 100? It's a huge difference. It's 8 times the amount. Ibaylu, monet surit nan or monet medinat nan. Tashmad au gavret dogali chavrei mefurish story. Asli kamid Reb Yehuda Nasiya. Who's Reb Yehuda Nasiya? Not Reb Yehuda Nasi. It's Reb Yehuda Nasi's grandchild. Amar Lei. And I remember I once made the mistake, the big mistake of saying Reb Yehuda Nasi, and I got 16 emails. Amar Lei. Hana Reb Yisrael Glili. Havle monet suri. It says mefurish. Give him a tsuri. Give him the pure. So he got 8 times the amount than possible, or the right amount, but not what you thought. Shmamino monet surit nan. Shmamino. Says Gemara. Oh, did I skip something? We have to understand what this lashon means. Here I am. Here's Reb Yisrael Glili. Give him that amount. I saw that you gave this guy a slap in the face, so I want you to pay this amount. I was there. I was the witness. So this is a big shayla Rabbi sign. A big Rav, mamish, part of the Bezdin, he sees a ritzicha. He sees a guy in the street, he's on a bus, and he sees somebody pulling off somebody's sheitel on a bus. Could he say, hey, I'm a dayan, I'm passing right now, pay 400? Yes or no? So that's a big shaila in Shas, whether or not Eid nasa dayan. It's a shaila. It's machlokes. I saw it. Am I biased to paskin? Now, how am I paskening? Because I'm a yachid mumcha. I'm a professional. I'll take this on myself. Says Gemara, I saw with my own eyes. I know what Reb Eli paskin. That's what you have to give. So you tell me he holds that a witness becomes a judge. The Sanhedrin actually saw the killing. Part of them become Eidim, part of them become Dayanim. In other words, Tarfin holds not everybody could be a Dayan. You need some that are Eidim, some are Dayanim, but not one becomes the other. No, everybody becomes Eid, vein Eid nasa Dayan. Why? Because Eid doesn't become a Dayan. So the Gemara says, even, okay, Rebbe Kiva's Pashat, Eid does not become a Dayan. Just if you witnessed it, you can't judge it. Pashat, because the whole Sanhedrin saw what happened, so half of them are going to say, listen, we are not Eidim. We didn't witness. We're going to judge it, not based on our testimony, but based on what they testify in front of us. We'll be judges. But to flip and become from an Eid to a Dayan, no, you can't be. Maybe I hear. So bring a raya from Rebbe Kiva. We just want to say that even Rebbe Tarfon seems to hold this idea that an aid does not become a dayan. Kitanya he says, Gemara, well, I could be doichot. That whole story when the Sanhedrin saw the killing, so of course an aid could become a dayan. No, an aid could become. In this particular case, an aid didn't become a dayan. Why? Because it's at night. And at night I can't paskin. So the next day, they can't paskin based on what they saw the night before. They have to hear the testimony again from Eidim. Oh. So I got to tell you this real quickly about seeing testimony. So there was Yerushalmi in court here in Eretz Yisrael, and the judge asked him, did you see it or did you hear it? She says, I'll tell you the truth, I didn't see it. I heard it in the mikveh. She says, okay, get out. She's very annoyed at her. He looks at her, and he lets out a real gezunta burp. She says, that's contempt of court, 3,000 shekel fine. She says, I don't understand. Did you see it or did you hear it? Says Gemara, I know this really. No, we're not talking about Eid Nasa Dayan. He didn't see it. The simplest answer in the world. He's not saying I saw the story. I witnessed that he gave him a smack. I'm saying I am here. I'm Mr. Judge, Rabbi Judge. I'm telling you that law is you have to pay a mana based on Rebbe Eli. Ask the Gemara Rebbe Kiva the Eid Nasa Dayan. But Tanya, does Rebbe Kiva hold that an Eid does not become a Dayan? If you witness something, it's also for you to be the judge. But Tanya v'hikon ishes re'eu be'even oy be'egrov. A person hits somebody with a weapon. What's the weapon? Either with his fist or with a stone. Be'even, with a stone or with his fist. When a person has a fist, the weapon is right here. I could inspect it and check it out. I bring it to court. So, it's there for the court, for the witnesses to say, this was the weapon. Today also, I know especially in Chutz La'aretz, everywhere, in America, in Eretz Yisrael also. When there's a crime, you look for the weapon. The weapon is very important. I need a weapon. They go crazy. They go into the bottom of the lake to find the weapon. So every weapon has to be something that's here that I could bring, I could testify. If it's not there, you can't testify about it. Amalei Rebbe Kiva, makes no sense what you're saying. Do you bring the whole case in front of a bezdin? Great, you bring the fist. How does that help me to know how many times he punched him in the face? Here it is. But was it 1 time or 10 times? I don't know. Do I have a video that says that he punched him in the heart? Or maybe punched him in the leg and it caused 0 damage? So what good is it that you have the weapon? You pushed your friend off a rooftop And he died. So of course over here I have to insert my Shver's story for those who never heard it. My Shver is a famous, world-renowned surgeon, head and neck surgeon, and they would call him up in the middle of the night, all times of the day. I was there many times. The phone is on Shabbos, and when it rings, he has to pick up. Yes, run to the hospital. There's emergency surgery. They call him up. A guy has a smashed head. You got to come. So he did surgery, and this guy fixed him up. And when the guy finally woke up, my father-in-law does the rounds, checks him out. Ma'aseh Shaya, what happened? The guy says, listen, I was on the roof of the building in Chicago, and it was right next to another building, 2 building roofs, and we were listening to the radio, we're having a great time, we're drinking this, that. All of a sudden, the radio fell between the 2 buildings and got stuck. So we came up with a great idea. They're going to tie my leg to a rope, and they're going to lower me down slowly, and I'm going to grab the radio. So everything's going great. Lowering, I'm almost there. And all of a sudden, the phone rang in the kitchen, and he went to get the phone. He let the rope, and Am Yisrael. Ma'aseh Shahaya. So another Rosh Hagag, or Rosh Habira of a mace. Bezdin holchem eitzel bira. Nobody laughed because nobody knows what a phone is in the kitchen. What do you mean phone rang in the kitchen? I got a cell phone over here. Back in the Reb Eli, they had these things that used to go like this, and it was in the kitchen. There's only one of them, and when it rang, you ran real quickly. You never know who's calling. What?
It was also corded.
Yeah, of course it's corded.
You said it.
They don't even know what a cord is. What's a cord? Zevi, what's a cord? There's no idea what I'm talking about. It had a rope. Okay. Oh, so as the guy falls off the roof, Bezin Holchem it's a biro. What the whole Bezin is going to go to see the roof, or biro Elechetz is Bezin, or do you bring the roof to the Bezin? What do you do? Obviously, you don't bring all the evidence. V'oidim nafla. What if the whole house fell? Chayzer Rabbeinu, you have to build up the house. Elamai egrav miyuchat shumasal edim. Afkol shumasal edim has nothing to do with the Bezin. You have to bring a weapon to Bezin. The edim must see how it was done. If they never noticed how it happened, then the guy's potter. They don't know what the weapon was at the time. But it does say, Rebbe Akiva says, was it in front of Bezin that they know? In other words, if the Bezin saw the whole story, they could not only testify, but they also could judge it. That means Eid Nasadayan. They saw it. He said, oh, did they bring it in front of Bezin? Did the crime happen in front of Bezin? Meaning Bezin could judge it. Says Gemara, no, the dvar of the Rebbe Shimon HaTimni Kama. He's just trying to prove a point to him. He says, you hold, they have to see the weapon, they have to bring the weapon to Bezin. What? Did the Bezin see the whole crime? They didn't see the whole crime. What happened? I skipped where? But if, yeah, you're right, I did skip those words. If he did hit him in front of him, but they're dayanim, how could they also see what happened, witness it, and also judge it? No, the dvar of the Reb Shimon HaTimni Kamar, the leiloi svirlei, he doesn't hold that. He's just trying to make a point to Shimon HaTimni that if you hold that you need to bring a weapon to Bezdin, so what? So you're going to start bringing buildings into Bezdin? It's impossible. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Shir la malois, soy na yelo rimayu bo Yisri.